J.J. Dillon talks about the key to the wrestling business on episode 3 of the School of Morton podcast, available for free at rickymortononline.com.
When you start out, you work hard, and you have to work hard to get your foot in the door and establish yourself. And then once you've done that, you learn, well, if I'm going to have longevity, if I work this hard every night, I'm going to burn out. So then you learn to work smart.
You know, what I really need to do is to book you here for a seminar at School of Morton. If you could please make my kids understand that. You know, I'll be gone on the road for a couple of weeks, and I'll come out, look here, they have a cannon around back fixing to shoot somebody out of it. But they just don't even understand, JJ, sometimes it's not what you do, it's how you do it. And again, we had a great crowd, a great response,
yeah.
But
it's how,
you know,
it's how you do it and the timing of knowing when to do it. And I'm kind of the old school philosophy is less is more. You can do less, but if you do the right thing at the right time, you're going to get so much more response than if you're going out there 60 miles an hour trying to get the people revved up. They're there. They want to be entertained, and once you get that figured out, then you learn how to work smart.
Yes, sir.
And obviously you and Robert have done that, and that's why you're still on top after all these years.
Well, thank you, JJ. I really appreciate that. You know, and you were speaking earlier, I never got that opportunity to wrestle you. Now, work with you with the Four Horsemen. I couldn't count how many times. Thank you for all the years, and thank you and I learned from you too. I don't know if you realize that. You know, when you're a young kid in the business and you're working on top and you're working with the Four Horsemen, you watch everything. And believe it or not, I was telling my young kids here, too, you was talking about refereeing earlier. I told these guys, man, once you get in there and referee a couple of matches and listen to these guys when they're in the ring, it'll help you so much. But, it's like talking to a brick wall sometimes.
I was never formally trained by anybody, and where I learned the psychology of the business was as a referee. And you get in there against the greats of the business, you can learn more by just being in there and seeing what they do and when they do it and how they do it, and look up and see the reaction of the crowd. And you can get an education without ever, putting on the tights, and, that comes along later. And if you're smart enough to observe what's going on, to digest what's going on, and you said something a few minutes ago that's very important. You said you're still learning. I am still learning. I've been around the business for half a century, and I am still learning. I go to a town like the other night, and I see some little thing, and maybe part of it is something that, okay, maybe you learned it earlier, but then you have a tendency sometimes to forget a lot of things. And you get out there, and then you're reminded that how simple the business really is, and I come back to the less is more. It's knowing what to do, when to do it, and that's the key to our business. And obviously you've mastered that for many, many years. Like, again, that's why you're still on top, and why I go to these towns and who's in the main event tonight, and there's the Rock and Roll Express. And before I ever walked in, they said, oh, by the way, it's already sold out tonight.
She said, Rama, Lama, Bama, Lama, rock and roll